You want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport. Anyway, you think I sound crazy? They're starting with Chinese people. That's my fucking family, dog.
Okay, they're going to start with Muslims. They're going to start with my people. Okay? Sure.
Yeah.
Stop hiding behind vulnerable communities.
I'm hiding behind vulnerable communities.
Yes, you are. You're using them as human shields.
I'm standing in front of vulnerable communities. James, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm in front of vulnerable communities.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're breaking down Francesca absolutely tearing Cenk Uygur apart for bending over backwards to please MAGA fans at a Turning Point USA event. This debate is straight fire, and trust me, you're going to feel the secondhand embarrassment for Cenk. Also, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. Really helps the channel grow. All right, let's jump right into the video.
I think the left has some work to do in developing over-the-top media to be able to bypass the main networks.
Yeah, so we have TYT as a giant network, but we have a lot of great progressive and populist shows that are not part of TYT. That's in the left-wing ecosystem.
I just want to stop and say I'm excited to hear which ones you like, given that you just sort of insulted Emma Vigeland just now. I'm curious which ones you actually do still support that aren't your own, but I'm going to keep going, Cenk. Hang on.
So I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think that there isn't enough shows. I think that there's a couple others. One, on the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing. Okay, so you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
We're glad Cenk's here, right, everybody?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist, right? But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right?
Okay, so there you are, and you know.
Yeah, love it. Stick with 100% on what I just said there. I'm 100% right about that. So let's discuss.
Yeah, let's discuss. You had your say there, and you've been saying various degrees of that same thing. And I gotta say, like, I watched this whole, I watched the whole clip, and it started off, and I was like, this is pretty good. This is good. Like, pretty good interview. I like that you're sitting down. It wasn't bad. This moment, like, truly a part of me died when I watched this.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Yeah. Super. Just like shriveled up and died, floated away into the ocean. Here's what happens. A couple things. He asks you about left-wing media and why there isn't more left-wing media. Which already, as you are there, in the sort of kingdom of turning points, is like, that's such a dig. Like, why are you guys so weak is effectively what he's saying. And instead of pointing out the way that TPUSA has been bankrolled by Republican mega donors out of Chicago and many other places for years now, and talking about how the Daily Wire was funded by the fracking brothers, the Wilkes brothers. Now they're fishing for new, investors, whatnot, but that there is so much money on the right. He handed this answer to you on a fucking platter, and all you said was, you know what? You guys are really good at being welcoming. People just like you. Cenk, they've got all the money.
I didn't say people just
what
like
are you
me.
talking about? That's effectively what you're good at coalescing. And here's my question to you about so that's just number one on the media, because that just stings because I'm in media. But on the 5%, if you disagree with MAGA 5%, they still welcome you. How did that work out for Liz Cheney?
Yeah. So look, is there a part of MAGA that'll push you out? Of course. That's what we know MAGA for.
When do they push you out, Cenk? When do they push you out?
Largely when you disagree with Trump.
Exactly.
So listen,
this is the thing that it's the unspoken thing that you're never saying, that ultimately it's all hunky-dory. Elon can tweet back at you. Vivek can listen to you. But if you defy Donald Trump, the God Emperor, you're kicked out of the castle. And no one's defending Liz Cheney. Screw both their castle and the other castle. But Liz Cheney voted with Donald Trump 98% of the time. And just the 1% when she was like, hey, you know what? You can't do a coup on this country. And Adam Kissinger, and they were gone.
Yeah, Francesca nailed it. Once you go against them, you're out. Look at Liz Cheney. She backed Trump 98% of the time, but the second she stood up and said, hey, maybe we shouldn't try a coup, she was gone. So this idea that MAGA is somehow welcoming or inclusive, come on, that's a joke. What really gets me is how Cenk completely fumbled such an easy opportunity to call this out. He's sitting there on stage at a Turning Point USA event, and instead of pointing out how the entire right-wing media machine is propped up by billionaire donors, he decides to compliment them for being welcoming. Welcoming? Are we watching the same political landscape? They're not welcoming. They're strategic. They'll take in anyone who plays along and kick out anyone who doesn't. That's not unity. That's fear-based loyalty. And then there's this whole idea that the left is somehow worse because we push people out. Sure, the left can be tough on each other, but that's not the same as the loyalty tests we see on the right. On the left, the critique usually comes from a place of holding each other accountable. It's messy, yeah, but it's also how progress happens. The right doesn't have those conversations because they're too busy circling the wagons to protect Trump. Honestly, it's frustrating to watch Cenk take a moment that could have been about exposing their flaws and turn it into some weird backhanded praise. The left has plenty of challenges, no doubt about it, but playing into the right's narrative that we're the intolerant ones? That's just shooting yourself in the foot. What Cenk should have done is flip the script. Talk about how the right's so-called inclusivity is nothing more than a calculated strategy to consolidate power. But instead, he handed them a win and made it harder for the left to push back against that narrative.
So miss me with this 5% BS, yo.
So, all right, Franny, a whole bunch of things here. So, number one, you're right. That's definitely how Turning Point started. Daily Wire certainly started that way. I don't know what their current funding is, but they seem to have a lot more funding than any of us do. So you're right, and I have said that in the past, and I probably should have put that in there in that particular appearance, and I will mention that, and that'll really grate on their nerves. But I've got no problems telling their audience, and I tell them all the time, no, you guys have way more money. And they're always shocked by that. And I'm like, because they're swimming in money and don't realize how much we're starving out here on the left, right? Sure. So, and I talked on Tim Pool's show about that, et cetera. Now, when it comes to the 5%, 95%, yeah, I hear you. So it's when you disagree with Trump, especially in the past, especially in the first term, et cetera, you're a goner, right? But they are pushing back even on Trump now. So, again, on things that we don't agree with, but on COVID, for example, they thought that Trump did too much COVID protections, et cetera. And there was, and this is really encouraging. When I talk about Team Miriam, Marco Rubio, Elise Stefanik, Mike Huckabee, and Mike Walz. So those are the four that put in by the neocons put in by Miriam Adelson. In the old days, what I would have gotten, Franny, is, no way, they're the greatest. They're not neocons. You're a liar. Trump picked them. Trump's the best.
If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe and help us reach 1,000 subscribers.
Now what I'm getting from the right-wing hosts, which is amazing, and let alone the base, they're all saying, yeah, I hear you. We got concerns about them. We got concerns. Okay. So that's the thing I never heard before. So that is a change. Now, in terms of the concept that I'm referring to, the 5%, 95%, but Franny, we're in the middle of that right now. This is the perfect example. So I started the largest progressive network. I've given dozens of progressives opportunities they didn't have before. I started Just Democrats, et cetera, et cetera. The minute I disagree like 5% on trans issues or crime, everybody's like, right wing, fascist, right wing. Almost every show is saying that. Almost every show. So you telling me that you don't push people out? You're pushing out the movement overall. At least the online left movement seems to be trying to push out the one network that has helped progressives more than any other network, and it's not in dispute. But my God, we have 5% disagreement. So tear it down. This is the destructive extreme left that I honestly, that portion, that kind of destructive attitude is poison. It's not just poison to us, it's poison to our chances of winning, because we keep pushing people out, and then all of a sudden we lost all the swing states and we lost the popular vote. I'm trying to get our side to wake up, snap out of our hypnosis of we hate, and we hate the right wing, and they're all white supremacists, and they're all racist, and they're all sexist, and we hate, and we never go in the room with them. We hate. What the hell happened to us? And no one's allowed to disagree. We're now authoritarian. No.
Wait,
I
Cenk,
rebel.
can I just clarify?
I will never allow the left to be authoritarian, and this idea of just hating the other side is poison.
You know what's so funny about you calling the left authoritarian is that you think the left has power. Like, I love that you think
total nonsense.
Francesca hit the nail on the head. Calling the left authoritarian is absurd, especially when you think about how little power the left actually holds. The idea that the left is poisoning itself by hating the other side is such a shallow take. What Cenk seems to miss is that the real poison isn't accountability within the left. It's the systemic injustices and authoritarianism coming from the right. Critiquing the opposition, or even each other, isn't the problem. It's how movements grow and evolve. But let's talk about this idea of poison. Cenk frames it as if the left's critique of racism, sexism, or other systemic issues is just blind hatred, as though calling out these things makes the left inherently self-destructive. That's not the case. The left's willingness to confront these issues, even when it's uncomfortable, is what sets it apart from the right. Yes, it can get messy, but progress isn't clean or easy. What's really poisoning things is the narrative Cenk is playing into here. By focusing so much on how the left is tearing itself apart, he's doing exactly what the right wants, undermining confidence in the movement. Instead of addressing real challenges, like the right's overwhelming financial power or their ability to consolidate loyalty around fear and control, Cenk is busy painting himself as a victim of the very accountability that keeps progressives honest. If he really cared about fixing things, he'd stop blaming the left and start working to rebuild trust within the movement. The left isn't perfect. No one's saying it is. But framing internal critique as poison is not just wrong. It's counterproductive. Accountability isn't what's tearing us down. It's what keeps us fighting for the kind of world we all want to see. Cenk needs to understand that and stop playing into these tired, divisive narratives.
We are on the precipice of real authoritarianism and real fascism, and you believe that the online left are the authoritarians? I mean, I don't know how to tell you. You sound like Bill Maher and Nancy Pelosi had a kid, and it came out Cenk Uygur. And let me just ask you though. Let me just ask you. So what shows on the left do you like that aren't on the TYT network?
Yeah, so I said, look, there's a lot of good popular shows on the left that I like, and it's because there are. So Breaking Point's a good show. Kyle Kalinski's Secular Talk is a good show. He was against me going on MAGA. I haven't seen his video, but Kyle's been against us a couple of times. But I largely didn't hold a grudge on that.
But wait, let me just stop you. Let me just stop you. First of all, you had a great conversation with Crystal Ball. I think she made some really good points to you on. I think it was on Breaking Points. Kyle has, I think, been very disturbed, especially by your appearance with Charlie Kirk. But what you just said there, they've been against us. I really want to just dig into this idea that, because you're a fighter, man. That's cool. That's great. But like, you really do have a very I almost want to call it Bush-like, Cheney-like, you're with us or against us attitude.
100% wrong.
Like, you just literally, I love that you're proving my point. But when I say this, you truly, you sound like people are either against you, but if they criticize you, they are not. And yet, here you are, Cenk, telling the entire right wing that all you want to do is break bread with them, that you want to debate with them, but afterward you want to go have a beer.
Yes, I do.
You want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport.
You think we're going to get put in camps? You sound... All right, anyway.
You think I sound crazy? They're starting with Chinese people. That's my fucking family, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
That's such an excuse. Okay, they're going to start with Muslims. They're going to start with my people. Okay, if they start at all. So just stop hiding behind vulnerable communities. I'm
hiding behind vulnerable communities. Yes,
you are. You're using them as
standing in front of vulnerable communities, Cenk.
No,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm in front of vulnerable communities. I'm the most endangered, Franny.
By tweeting at Elon Musk? Please, don't help me. Come on, Cenk. This is so sad. That's
Okay,
so
so
sad.
let's break.
Well, let's take it down. Let's simmer down. No. Simmer down. I'm asking. Let me just ask you. Real, honest to God.
You already said 12 things that I need to respond to. Can I respond to them?
No, I want to ask you this one
No, of
question.
course not.
Let's talk about you going on these shows. Just simmer down. Let me ask you one question. Imagine if Kamala Harris had won. Okay, she wins. She wins the popular vote. She wins obviously the Electoral College. Incredible, first female president, blah, 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 all this stuff. And Tucker Carlson started making all these rounds on like really like progressive leftist shows, went on Kyle's show, went on my show. I'm like, who the hell? Started reaching out and wanting to talk and wanting to come to agreement on things. What would that look like to you?
Yeah, it would look like Tucker was trying to reach out. Tucker's a bad example because I would be surprised if he did that. But okay, yeah, no problem.
What would it look like to you?
I wouldn't. And do I think that Tucker would be selling out? No, there's no chance.
No. Well, I'm not. It's not about selling out. What would that like? What would it just seem like? Hey, man, we can agree. Yeah, you know what? I did say that Kamala Harris was a DEI hire and she's basically a communist, but now I just feel like I've antagonized you and I'm here to like break bread and let's talk and let's get stuff done. What would that look like to you?
It would look surprising, but I wouldn't care. I'd find it interesting. Why? What does it look like to you?
I mean, to me, if Tucker Carlson did that, I'd be like, oh, we fucking won. We won like crazy. We won so resoundingly. He's doing an apology tour because 3 ghosts visited him in the middle of the night and he's completely changed his tune because he wants to throw down with the winners. We are crushing it. And I saw in that moment, you want me to play it for you? When Charlie Kirk goes, "We're glad Cenk's here, everybody." And that was the feeling that I think a lot of right-wingers have when they look at you, Cenk, where they're like, damn, yo, we crushed so hard. Even this guy is turning now.
Francesca absolutely nailed it here. If Tucker Carlson, of all people, suddenly started making rounds on leftist shows after a Kamala Harris presidency, it wouldn't scream unity, it would scream, we lost. Picture Tucker doing some kind of apology tour, popping up on Kyle Kulinski's show or Breaking Points, talking about how maybe the left had a point on a few things. You wouldn't think, wow, what a bridge builder. You'd think, what happened to Tucker that made him come crawling to us? It's not a move of strength. It's a move of survival when you know you're on the losing side. That's what Francesca was pointing out with Cenk's appearance on the Turning Point USA stage. When Charlie Kirk turns to the audience and says, "We're glad Cenk's here, everybody," it's not a kumbaya moment. It's a power play. It's about making it look like the right is winning so decisively that even a progressive heavyweight like Cenk Uygur is coming over to their space. They're not looking for dialogue. They're looking for validation, and Cenk gave it to them on a silver platter. That's what makes it so frustrating. Here's the thing. If you're going to step into the lion's den, you better have your claws out. You can't just sit there and praise the right for being welcoming or unified when we all know their unity is built on fear and loyalty to one man. Cenk had a massive opportunity to call out how much billionaire money props up these movements, how their entire media ecosystem is a well-funded propaganda machine, and instead, he spent his time giving them credit. That's not what progressives need right now. What we need are sharp, focused arguments that expose the truth. The right isn't winning because they're better at welcoming people. They're winning because they're ruthless, they have the resources, and they don't care about playing fair. Cenk missed a chance to highlight that, and instead, he walked away looking like he was giving their movement a pat on the back. But let's take a moment to step back. This isn't just about Cenk. It's about the larger fight we're in. The right wants to dominate the narrative, and they'll use moments like this to strengthen their position. That's why we have to stay sharp, call out the nonsense, and hold even our own accountable when they drop the ball. If you're loving this breakdown and want to see more content where we call out the BS and get into the real issues, hit that like button, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can keep growing this platform and pushing back against these tired, manipulative narratives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's keep fighting the good fight together.